So I never wanted to film this video, but I have to because there is a lot of misinformation, delusion, madness and self-deception in this community. You see, recently on this channel we had an interview of a woman who definitely suffered from parasitic attacks, but due to misguidance and miscalculation, she attributed those parasitic attacks and psychological breakdowns, which are a product of her own mental state, to Belial. And I initially wanted this interview to be published to give a view and a perspective to people what can happen if you practice black magic without proper preparation. And the point of the video was technically, the point of an interview is to be the warning of what could happen to someone if they do this without preparation and without understanding. But unfortunately, when I filmed the video and came into contact with multiple people who essentially have the same problem as this woman, and with all of them I checked and realized that problem wasn't any higher force. It was simply parasites attaching to them and causing havoc, and them being unable to control their own minds, which kinda exacerbated the entire situation. I understood, because I was working with some of those people for a really long time, that this is a much bigger issue. This is not simply about me or about those people. This is about the entire attitude of this community regarding spirits and spirituality, spiritual experience. And what will, be said here will anger many, but it has to be said. You see, the first prerequisite for any serious spirituality is mastery over your own thoughts and emotions and states of consciousness. Without that, there is literally nothing which prevents you from falling into madness through occult techniques. And this will anger many also, but there are many completely insane, psychically gifted people sharing knowledge. When I mean insane, I mean that those people are absolutely unable to distinguish their own thoughts from spirits, to distinguish that which is coming from the deeper levels of consciousness from what is their own opinion. And this is a problem. And there is also zero awareness of what are demons in reality. And also there is a zero awareness of what are demonic pacts in truth. And there is zero distinction between what is a vision, what is evocation, what is invocation, what is possession, what is, insight, what is prophecy. All of those things are mixed, and those things are really, really distinct. So let's start by proposing a really logical argument, okay? A really logical thing. So there are many people, Christians and occultists alike, who are convinced that some higher entity, higher being such as God or a really powerful demon or a really powerful angel wants to kill them and destroy them and kill their children, kill their mothers and fathers. I heard variation of this many times through 7 years of my occult practice. What I can say is that statement is a concealed narcissism. You see, what the person is stating is, I am so powerful and I am so important that really powerful being, really powerful demon, really powerful angel, really powerful God wants to destroy me. Okay? Think about it logically. If a really powerful God wants to destroy a person wouldn't have a time to say it. Spirits have ability to kill somebody instantly if they truly want. They have better knowledge of our human anatomy and psychological condition and our human consciousness than any human doctor. So if spirit wants to kill you, he will, and you will probably not have time to react if we are talking about high-ranking spirit, right? So, the fact that so many people claim that they wage war with Thoth, with Ashtaroth, with Samael, with Raphael, with Christian God, with Jesus Christ is a product of delusion. If you truly waged war against such a powerful being, that being would be more than enough powerful to kill you immediately and instantly. You see, when we do certain banishings of certain forces, we are not attacking the essence of that being. We are simply banishing it from our personal space. For example, if I do the ritual to remove Jesus Christ, or to remove Hecate, or to remove any spirit, I am banishing the energy from that entity, from my space, but I am not really attacking the core of the entity, the core of the being, nor I am attacked by core of the entity, core of the being. So all of those psychic attacks, you hear and you see from all of those people claiming that demon so-and-so is attacking them, or God so-and-so is attacking them, are product of pure delusion. Also, what I need to point out is that those people are probably attacked by parasites or by lesser spirits, but definitely not by gods themselves, okay? Let's make it clear. I also want to debunk a really popular delusion about possession, okay? So there is a difference between possession and invocation. Invocation is when you call the energy of the spirit to enter you to the point your body can handle, okay? And possession is pretty light. Invocation is pretty light. It's pretty tolerable for body, and it's nothing special really. It's more like an alchemical attunement to inviting the energy of the spirit with you. Possession, however, is a completely different thing. So possession is when you cool the energy of the spirit, and the spirit enters you, sometimes even forcefully, to the point of your consciousness almost breaking or being completely overrun. Possession is not something your mind can withstand more than a few minutes maximum. So any of those people who claim to channel through possession, and channeling lasts like 2 hours, and they are like completely aware of everything, that's not possession, that's an invocation. Possession cannot be withstand more than a few minutes at best, because possession is extremely draining for the human body and consciousness. You cannot be possibly possessed for more than a few minutes. It would destroy your body, burn your nerves, literally. What I also want to say is that receiving information from spirits is extremely difficult. In order to receive the pure information, you need to call them for hours, and then you will hear really distinct voice in external space and in your consciousness, which will be unique to the spirit. It will always give you information you don't know, and it will always essentially be really short, only a few sentences. it's extremely difficult to receive anything longer than a few sentences, because when you directly receive the information from the divine, it looks like your consciousness is breaking with every word spirit pronounces, and it's a really demanding process for mind and for the body and for emotional state. And also, all of those people who claim that they call 10 spirits a day and that they give them profound informations, pages and pages long, it's mostly product of delusion. I talked to more than 30 occultists in my life, and majority of them agreed that when you manifest spirit really intensely and start receiving information from the spirit, it's rarely longer than a few sentences and extremely demanding for consciousness. The preparation takes multiple hours, and it's really something which is requiring heavy spiritual and mental lifting to be accomplished. So, when somebody is claiming to hear the voices of the spirits in their head every single second, every single goddamn day, it's either psychosis or delusion. It cannot be possibly true. Also, those people, when you ask them what spirit, quote unquote, tells them, they will always reply with combination of maybe 3 sentences repeated in a different way. You see, and those sentences repeat constantly. One other thing in channeling, in true communication with spirits is, especially infernal spirits, they refuse to repeat themselves. If you, for example, channel one spirit twice, he will never say the same thing twice in the same manner. He will always force you to, invest maximum of your mental capacity to receive things. And you see, there is one really important thing at last which I need to mention regarding delusions in this community. And this is essentially dealing with quote unquote physical materialization. You see, physical 3D materialization of the spirit is extremely rare, and it happens only in a really rare circumstance. But there is a lot of prideful and delusional people who claim that something is physical materialization when it isn't. You see, let's say this, somebody calls Paimon's energy really intensely, and he then receives a vision in his head of King Paimon on a dromedary. That vision is not in external 3D space. It's simply the vision in the head of the practitioner. There is no any indicator that the Paimon's image is present in 3D space, right? And so he will claim physical materialization. That person will claim physical materialization. But in reality, materialization wasn't physical. What happened is he called Paimon's energy really intensely, and he had the vision of King Paimon. So I wanted to say that majority of people who work with spirits and claim physical materialization actually want to boost their own egos, and they refer to the things I previously mentioned. So I ask my listeners not to be tricked and overjoyed with those crazy observations of spirit physically manifesting, when in reality the experience of the people in the video who are claiming those materializations isn't physical at all. It was a vision in the mind induced by the presence energy during evocation. So, the last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about why so much people who make demonic pacts go insane. You see, demons are spirits made of destructive energy. That destructive energy can be used for good or bad, for benevolent or malevolent purposes. However, nobody can deny that energy is indeed destructive. So, when you make a pact with a spirit, what happens is you summon the entity and you get infused with the energy of the entity, which is indeed destructive. And you need to keep producing more that destructive energy and transmuting it in order to maintain and to manifest what you desired through the entity. For that reason, many unstable people who are already under pressure go completely nuts when they make demonic pacts, because negative energy which comes to them through the pact becomes too much for the aura of the person and their energy body. It creates a form of fracturing of the self, which results in a form of mental deviation. So that is indeed a really important warning I had to give. Also, I advise newer practitioners to, during the week, practice only meditations and different breathing exercises, and work with spirits themselves only once a week. So that's the last thing I have to say for today.